hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter.
Sorry for that intro running twice. That's an operator error. 100% my fault. Welcome to the Winter Meetings. I am your host, Seven. Craig is waiting in the wings, and Stefan will be joining us shortly. But before we get started, I did want to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Gunslinger Soap. Gunslinger Soap is handmade soap made without all of the junk to pamper your skin. You can go to their website, gunslingersoap.com, and sign up to get 15% off of your first order and always free shipping. That's gunslingersoap.com, or always free shipping over $30. Sorry. Gunslingersoap.com. Check them out. I use their products myself, have for years. I chose them, and they were gracious enough to sponsor us. But let me bring in a guy who's been absent for a couple weeks, dealing with some personal stuff, but we're glad he is back with us and able to. Craig Newton. Sir, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's good to be back with the family.
We're glad to have you back. And a guy who is surprisingly tardy for being a professional athlete, Stefan Weaver, is with us as always. How you doing, buddy?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm so glad to have you back. Lot going on as we inch closer to the playoffs. I wanted to jump right in to announcement from the Yankees yesterday that Chapman will be going on the 15-day IL due to an infection in his leg from a new tattoo. He had been demoted since his return from his last IL stint. He was demoted to just being a reliever, no longer a closer. That is now exclusively Clay Holmes, but he has definitely improved since his return. Stefan, you seem to think that this is going to be even better news for the Yankees as they go into the home stretch and try to not stumble. What do you think?
Actually, I don't think it's better news. I mean, he's not the closer he used to be, but he still can give you some innings and a big strikeout.
He's actually only given up a few runs over his last 30 innings. He's been doing very, very well. I hope that he gets better. Team isn't mad at him or anything. Boone was talking in presser last night, said that, this is just one of those things. They're just worried about him. They've been giving him antibiotics, and it actually seems to be getting worse. So they're just kind of monitoring the situation. No news on any call-ups or roster changes at this point, but that might happen.
Yeah, you would think with all those tattoos on his neck, he wouldn't have any more room.
Well, that's why it was on his leg.
I got it.
That's where the fresh canvas is.
Right.
And, so we'll see what happens. Craig, do you think this is going to have any kind of a long-term negative impact for the Yankees?
I'm with Stefan. I don't think it will. I'm disappointed that he did this, though. I mean, right in the middle of, you got to think about the team. Get a tattoo at the end of the season. I mean, so poor judgment on his part. Very concerned as a former medic that infections, you don't play around with those. They're very, very serious. The fact that the antibiotics are not working, that's very concerning.
And that's the rough thing is typically with tattoos, it's not really a problem. This just seems to be a thing where something went wrong. And just very concerning to me as far as what happened, whether it was care or, bad ink, not using proper procedure by the artist. There's guys that get tattoos during the season all the time, especially now with how safe it is. So I can understand the concern, though, especially going into this part of the season. You really, really don't want to mess anything up. Early part of the year, less concerned,
Yeah, but for the Yankees, I think having Clay Holmes as a closer is an uplift. It's a plus.
Yeah, Clay Holmes is something else.
He is.
Definitely one of the best closers in baseball right now. Yankees have been struggling. I know they lost today. Been kind of back and forth with the A's. I know that it was a 4-game series and they split it, if I remember correctly.
I think so, yeah.
And that's always rough. They're not doing as well at this part of the year as they should be, especially with the momentum that they had. And I'm not saying that as a jealous Red Sox fan. I'm just saying that objectively. Like they've underperformed after the All-Star break.
Yeah, you don't hear a lot about them. You don't hear a lot about them setting wins records anymore.
No. That conversation is dead, I'm pretty sure.
You still hear talk about Judge breaking records, but not the team.
Yeah, and even Judge hasn't performed as well as he should have. As well as you would expect with the type of money. I mean, and he's still going to get $300 million if he wants it, but
with the start he had, I mean, that was kind of a high bar.
It was.
Continue that.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is, and it's just a testament to the challenge of professional baseball because you can start so well over the first 100 games, and then you get after the All-Star break and you're just dragging ass. And we all get exhausted when we've been working a long stretch. So you can't judge the guy, but it's just like I hope he gets it back because they are going to need him in the postseason because
he's fun to watch.
And yeah, he's fun to watch. He's good for baseball. He really is.
As a Red Sox fan like you, I root for the guy.
Yeah. And that's the thing. He's good for kind of like Shohei. He's good for baseball. And that's why I like that the MVP race for the American League is pretty much Shohei and Aaron Judge. Although I still think Judge has it. But they're going back and forth. Do you think that Shohei, Craig? What do you think? You think Shohei can steal it from him, or do you think it's Judge has it locked in at this point?
I think Judge got it locked in. I mean, unfortunately, the Angels aren't going anywhere, and that has to take into consideration. I mean, no matter how good you are, you're not really benefiting the team as far as progress and winning games and moving up in the standings and making the playoffs. I mean, it's so frustrating. They've got Mike Trout and they got Ohtani, and they don't go anywhere. It's got to be really frustrating for those guys too, I would think.
Do you think Art Moreno's going to sell the team?
It looks like it.
Yes.
He is so frustrated right now. He'll still get $300 billion for it, but he just wants to. He's really disappointed because when he took over in 2002, he really had planned on building a championship team. Remember, he cut all the prices of beer. He's trying to do all the right things, but it hasn't worked out for him.
No,
it's one of those things. I think it would be great if the team could turn it around, but the thing of it is if they don't sell now and they don't turn it around, because right now they're not going to get to keep Shohei.
Right. And
if they don't sell the team before they lose Shohei, the value of that team tanks considerably. I would say by at least $100 million.
Right.
Yes.
But I also think that because Shohei, he had a great game. He threw a shutout, struck out 10. I think if he has a couple more of those outings before the end of the season, I think he's in the running still. And plus the fact that he goes both ways.
Yeah, and Shohei is such a uniquely talented individual. It's a generational talent for sure. We legitimately have to compare him to Babe Ruth. That's how much of a generational talent he is.
Yep.
And how remarkable he's doing in baseball right now is that you can't argue the comparison anymore. And that says something.
Yep.
But I think that Shohei is going to be in the conversation. I think he's going to remain in the conversation. But I definitely don't think he can overtake, short of a colossal failure by Judge, where he just, turns into Joey Gallo and starts getting 2 strikeouts a game for the rest of the season.
A perfect game by Ohtani, maybe.
Ohtani throws a no-hitter, gets a home run in the no-hitter. Then we're going to, I think Judge is going to have to
reevaluate.
Right now, if I'm on the committee, the Baseball Writers of America, I'm voting for Judge.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think Shohei has a chance to get more into the conversation.
Oh, he does.
Still a long way to go, I think. He could hit 5 more home runs. Of course, so could Judge, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. And speaking of more home runs, Albert Pujols is now at 693 for his career. And he's saying he's done after this year. He's not going to keep going if he doesn't hit the 700. When you're done, you're done. Whether it's 2 3/4 innings or 2 2/3 innings or 20 years. When you're done, you're done.
Yeah, it's like Ortiz. When he's done, he was done.
And Yachty's done this year too, and I think I think it's one of the reasons why he wanted to come back to St. Louis is he wanted to walk into the sunset with Yachty, and Yachty's not coming back. There's, so I think that's ultimately what it is. So that the next competition those guys have to worry about is who gets more Hall of Fame votes, and they're both going to be first ballot, but who's going to get more? That's going to be the next competition between those two. Which, quick guess, who do you think gets more Hall of Fame votes? Do you think? Because I as much as we'd like to say they're both they're both unanimous first ballot Hall of Fame, because I don't think anybody disputes it. There's going to be some guys that vote no just because. So realistically,
one guy that voted no for Jeter, right?
Yeah, just because they had to.
Yeah.
So who do you think gets more votes? Stefan, I'll let you have that one first.
I think Yadier. I think Molina, because catching is a much tougher position.
That's fair.
And catchers have never put up those kind of numbers.
And as a catcher, I am a little biased, but I happen to be on your side. Craig, what do you think?
I agree. Yachty all the way. Very difficult position to be at his supreme excellence for all these years, and the leadership he shows and all that. I mean, yeah, he'll get more votes.
I happen to agree. I think that he will get a lot more votes. Or I'd say a lot. Realistically, it's probably just going to be a couple difference because most people are going to vote for both of them. But I think you're right. But okay, so here's the real question. He needs 7 home runs before the end of the season to hit 700. Does he hit it? Craig, you first.
I'm going to say yes, because they're not going to pitch around him. This is not Bonds. He has no bad blood with other teams. He's a very good at being a good PR for baseball, a good ambassador for baseball. I say he gets it. Yes.
Stefan, what do you think, man?
I'm with Craig. I do. Plus, I think there's a slight possibility as he gets closer, the pitchers kind of lay one in there just so he can get it.
I mean, you got to respect a legend, and sometimes that's just, I think 699 to 700 is going to be the hardest one to get. He's going to have to earn that. But I mean, we'll see some guys miss, and it'll be like, oh well.
Yeah.
I that's at least that's what I kind of predict on that one. But we'll see what happens. I hope he does. I think he does. I hope he does. ESPN projects right now, stats wise, for him that he'll hit 697.
So if he does that, does he come back?
He's saying he won't.
Yeah, but for 2 home runs, 1 or 2 or 3 home runs, that's going to be tempting. He could be a legend in the record books.
Maybe somebody signs him as a free agent, near the end of the season that's just trying to get over that hump and have an extra bat. But here's the thing. The ESPN projections are only based on regular season, and postseason home runs still count towards your career numbers. Wow. The Cardinals are going to the postseason.
They are. Yep.
So I think he's going to get it I don't know that he'll finish it in the regular season, but I think he gets it.
Yep. I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. We talked about that. Okay. Julio Rodriguez, Seattle Mariners rookie, got a blockbuster contract. $200 million guaranteed, could balloon though with incentives to reach nearly $470 million. Stefan, if you got $470 million to spend on a rookie, are you spending it on J-Rod?
I think so. If I was going to spend money on anyone, definitely.
Craig, what do you think?
No.
Why not?
This kid is not. It's too soon. I mean, it's way too soon. Show me again. Show me again next season.
Give me a second.
They've got him tight.
Okay.
They have him locked up for a contract already. I don't know why they jumped the gun on that. I would not have done that. No.
The argument is always going to be, I think, you do it when it's cheaper. I think that's when they're what the goal is. He's only 21. And I don't think he's coming up to an arbitration year.
No.
I think he's
a rookie.
Yeah, he's still even a couple of years out from arbitration. So,
yeah.
But I think Seattle is probably petrified of losing him because they've lost so many great players. So I think they're going to do anything they can to lock him in.
And I think, honestly, I went kind of back and forth on this because he's a rookie. But I think ultimately the goal is to try and save money and not have to sweat it out. You don't have to worry about the conversations. Is he going to leave? They've got him. They've got him locked in. And if they're going to lose him, it's going to be for significant trade compensation.
Free agency is after 4 years, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they got some years to work and play with.
Yeah, and that's what I don't understand though, is I think you could have I honestly I would have waited at least to see another year. If he has a season that is on par or preferably a little better with the results that he had this year, all right, let's pull out the 10-year conversation talks before we have to worry about arbitration. And this
you changed my mind.
You know,
I'm with no. I'm with Greg.
And the free agency clock starts as soon as he's brought up. His free agency clock starts once he's brought up to the 40-man roster. He's on the clock.
Mm-hmm. And so, but I think I'm kind of with you, Craig. Like, I don't blame him, but at the same time, I would have waited to see another year.
Who brought that up anyway, that money? Who initiated that conversation?
I think it was the Mariners.
Oh. Sounds like something an agent might do.
I mean, I'm sure the agent was more than willing to enter into those discussions because that dude's now loaded.
Yeah.
But, you know, because 10%.
Yep.
10%. That's $20 million right there, guaranteed. Could be up to another $27 million if he plays well. Yeah.
My agent got zero. Got a handshake. That's about it. I actually wrote him a letter to apologize that I didn't. I did.
Well, that was nice of you.
We had a pretty good relationship. I like him.
That's good. That's good. It's, you know, I appreciate the talent. He is a remarkably talented young man. And I think that he definitely has a lot of potential in this league. But I do think they pulled the trigger too early.
Yeah, prove it one more year. Yeah. 2 years in a row of that kind of play is definitely, or then Brent bring it up.
Yeah, because he's.
How much of that is guaranteed?
It's 210 is guaranteed, up to 470 with incentives. So a little less than half of it. So it's, I mean, you look at it, it's 20 million. You know, you think about that, it's a 10-year deal, so that's like 20 million a year for 10 years.
I could live off that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both could live off of you getting 20 million a year. I think that we would be very comfortable.
And I would welcome you.
As your agent, I get 10% of that 20 million a year. So
no, we split in thirds.
I'm all right with that. That's fair. But yeah, no, congratulations to him. But I mean, yes, 21 home runs as a rookie. He's definitely in the Rookie of the Year conversation for the American League.
Tony, can you guys excuse me for a second? I'm gonna get a drink.
Go for it. You're good, buddy. You know, remarkable, talented, but I definitely feel like he hasn't earned it yet, but he's getting there. You know, deserves some rookie love. You know, a little extra money I don't think is a bad thing, but I think they're jumping a gun a little early on 20 million a year at 21 years old.
Now, if it was a catcher, I might think differently.
Why do you say that?
Well, because catchers are few and far between as far as talent. You know,
okay.
a really great catcher.
All right, yeah, I'll give you that. Okay.
Between.
Yeah, I like that take. That's pretty good.
Kind of tight ends of the NFL, you know.
Yeah, it's, you know, because that's why Kelsey and Kittle and Waller make money.
That's it. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
If you don't draft them in your fantasy, you're screwed.
And yeah, well, and like I saw an article the other day where they were talking about a potential trade that would send Waller to the Packers, and I was just like, I would feel so bad for Waller because yes, Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback, but he's also a gigantic nutsack. So, like at that point, it's just like, oh man, Waller deserves better than that. At least send him to Minnesota with Kirk Cousins. That's not as bad.
Oh God. No.
Patrick, actually, one of the other things I noticed, and then we're going to talk about this Mickey Mantle card that just sold. I want to get to that, but Patrick Corbin ended the Washington Nationals record 43 game starting pitcher win drought.
Wow. That's a long drought.
43 games. There he is. He's back. Okay. 43 game win drought ended by Patrick Corbin of the Nationals today. For the Nationals today.
That is futility.
Yeah.
But he's going to be in the Cy Young running.
Yeah, he is. He's a great pitcher, and he's one of those. I feel bad for him being stuck in the Nationals organization with all the problems they're having. I mean, Juan Soto took out of that city in a dead run.
Right.
Like that, he did not look back. He hasn't even needed to sign a deal. Like he's not even worried about a deal at this point. He's just happy to be out of DC. Like that's how bad that organization is. And that's disappointing because those players deserve better than that.
And what's his name? Hosmer, he didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
He refused to go there. So
they're like, look, you're still getting all of your money.
There's something going around the league against Washington.
Well, the ownership is foul.
Yeah.
The current ownership is not good. The sooner that team gets sold, the better it is for baseball.
I would honestly expect that once Art Moreno sells the Angels, I think they will be the next team sold.
I think both Washington teams have horrible owners. Both Washington teams would be better off being sold.
Yeah,
that's horrible owners right there.
Yeah.
The Washington football team. Yeah, Dan Snyder is evil. Snyder is a piece of work. He's one of the few sports executives that's higher on my shit list than Roger Goodell. It's him, Ken Kendricks, and Rob Manfred.
Where did LaRussa go? I thought LaRussa was in there somewhere.
Oh, he's executives. I'm talking like front office, ownership, stuff like that. LaRussa is in his own special pit of hell as far as I'm concerned. And I can't like I'm thinking about planning a party to celebrate when he gets fired from Chicago just for the benefit of the Chicago White Sox fans. Like I'm looking at some black and white streamers. Maybe just set up and let some young kids hit home runs off of a T-ball set with a wiffle ball set. Just celebrate happiness.
Buy a billboard or two.
When we get our website, when we get our merch going, which is going to happen before the end of the year, one of our shirts is going to be something about my opinion of Tony La Russa, and I think it's going to sell hot. I think it's going to sell like hotcakes in Chicago because once I get that posted,
PG is it going to be PG or R or X?
I think I'm going to do one of each.
I got an idea for you. He's big with ARF, the animal rescue and stuff. How about a big dog on the front of the shirt, and something along the lines of Tony La Russa. It was rough.
I think, or just dog with his mouth open like he's barking, and speech bubble. Fire Tony La Russa. Nice and simple.
Yeah.
I have thought about putting, fuck Tony La Russa on a T-shirt, but
no.
It's crossed my mind. It has crossed my mind.
You put F La Russa.
F La Russa, yeah. I don't know. I think any anti-Tony La Russa shirt is going to sell like hotcakes in Chicago. So that's the part that matters because they that will give us an equipment bonus. That will give us an equipment budget really quick if we get that T-shirt going. I think.
Please tell me you're not doing likenesses of us for the shirts, okay?
No, I can't afford to pay.
Thank God. Thank God.
No, I'm actually a guy that I have known for a couple of years now is going to be doing some artwork for us.
Nice.
And he is, incidentally enough, I met him doing karaoke, but he is a tremendous artist. And he and I have already talked about some ideas. He's going to draw some stuff up for us. We're all going to have caricatures on shirts at some point.
Nice.
Yours is going to say Mr. Sex Appeal. Stefan's going to say talent.
No. I apologize to all the listeners at this moment. Ignore that last comment. I disavow any and all on that comment.
It might not be up to you.
I mean, you are the appeal for the ladies in the groups, Craig. I've said that from the beginning. And then Stefan's the talent, the Hall of Famer.
What are you? Are you the voice? You're the cute one. You're like Paul McCartney. You're the cute one.
The cute. Yes, I am the Justin Timberlake of this boy band. That's exactly what it is.
Just don't dance like he did at the Super Bowl. Don't show us your midriff, please.
I mean, I'll pull a Janet Jackson. I can have a wardrobe.
Oh God. And we're off the rails.
And we're off. But also, one of the other things that came across the newswire today is a 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle card sold for $12.6 million, shattering the record. It was a 9.5 grade, shattered the record for a sports card, was actually less than or almost half. Can you guess? Craig, I'm pretty sure you know what the record was before, but so I'll give it to Stefan first. Stefan, any guess what the record for one card was?
I don't know. What did you say Mantle went for?
12.6.
I say 5.5.
I was actually a little higher than that. Craig, do you remember?
Yeah, that would be for one T206 Hannes Wagner.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep, and it was $7.25 million. And we were actually we've been kicking around talking about that Honus card, so this actually came up perfectly, I think. But yeah, Topps Mickey Mantle 52 cards selling for $12.6 million. You think you got any cards worth that much, Craig?
No. With a rating like that of 9.5, it'll continue skyrocketing up and up. That's for 52 Mantle to be that close to being gem mint. That is it's ridiculous. That's
so
amazing.
Is that an investment, Craig? Is that an investment?
Oh yeah, it's investment.
Yeah. I mean, in 50 years, if the trend continues and the market doesn't bottom out for some reason, that card is worth $50 million.
Yeah. Well, the Topps market, I guess we can do another show down the road, but as it is my forte is baseball cards. The Topps market is going to be drying up as far as current market because they've lost the contract going into in the near future to another company that's going to be producing the cards. So all the cards that Topps has produced up until that time the contract ends, that's it. That's it for Topps cards. So the values of those cards will continue to go up, right? Because it's scarcer and scarcer.
Dan, a gentleman we've had as a guest on here before, Dan the Dick Warner, that's what he does is he sells trading cards. Yeah, that's what he does for business. And he's been talking about that as well, the way that the market's starting to shift with the impending end of the Topps agreement with Major League Baseball.
But Craig, all the ones that Topps has already released, they stay in their control, right?
They stay. Well, they release. Topps does a complete release of all the cards. They don't hold any cards back. So what's out there? But the thing is that prior to this could be a whole new show. Let's save it for another show. But bottom line,
we've got some time to talk about it a little bit.
Okay, all right. Well, the cards that were produced from the 50s through the 70s are the most valuable cards right now because they were produced in very small quantities. And the cards from the 80s to the 90s are getting up there in value now with Ricky Henderson, rookie card, that kind of thing. But anything in the 90s is pretty much not that much valuable because they released hundreds and hundreds of thousands of cards of these players, for that time period. So, but anything from the pre-war through the 60s, the 70s is considered vintage now. Up until 79 is considered vintage.
Didn't Wagner specifically say he didn't want that high because he wanted it to be affordable for kids?
No. Wagner never smoked, never chewed tobacco. The TT06 cards were produced as part of a giveaway for tobacco products. And when he found out, they didn't ask his permission. He went to court and had an injunction in place to stop the immediate production of those cards. And so whatever cards were out there, that's all there is. And
wow.
Nobody's really
and there
sure.
weren't that many, right? Which is why it's so expensive.
Nobody's really sure how many cards are out there. They got out there. So some guess it might have been a couple hundred. Some guess it might have been maybe 1,000. Maybe nobody really knows. But the thing is that to come across a Honus Wagner card in say a near mint to gem mint is near impossible.
That's a lot of bubble gum. That's a lot of bubble gum.
Well, it's a lot. It just doesn't. They don't show up that much. And the ones that have appeared, the whales in Asia, these men are huge collectors, have a ton of money. That's why they're called whales. They throw millions of dollars down at a time on cards. They snap a Honus Wagner card up as fast as one comes to the market. So I've only known of 39 that have come to market, and of those 39, only I think only 7 of them were of very good quality. The rest were not that good, but because it's a Honus Wagner card,
it's still going to get something.
Their value is still incredible.
So is that what makes this one more valuable because it's in better shape?
Well, yeah, that helps.
It's almost gem mint. 10 is mint, so 9.5 is near mint. And for 52 mantle, I mean, you're talking about the corners. You're talking about the gloss on the card. You're talking about the centering of his photo. All that has to be taken into account.
They're not autographed, are they?
No. Actually, I think we have a photo of it. Give me just a second.
There's a facsimile autograph on it, but it's not his autograph. No, it's a facsimile.
Hold on, I'm going to pull this up actually. And this picture is courtesy of ESPN and the Heritage Auctions, the auction house that actually sold the card. But this card is in beautiful shape. Hold on, come on. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. Like I don't know how you can get any more perfect than that. That's my question. Like, how does that only a 9.5? Because I don't, outside of aging, like I don't see any flaws.
That's great.
Yeah, it looks perfect to me. Looks beautiful and amazing.
But that's not the autograph at the bottom.
That's the Holy Grail. No, that's a facsimile signature. That's the Holy Grail of
just
cards.
Like printed on there, collecting. Basically. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the Holy Grail. If you get one of those, it's the Holy Grail.
I had one, but my mom threw it away.
No.
It was right next to my Wagner card.
Right next to your Wagner card. Well, if you have a Wagner card, we're doing a live episode together.
Yeah, in Las Vegas. Yeah.
As they pay us to announce that the A's are moving to Las Vegas.
Yeah. I know. Charlie Sheen has been looking for 52 mantle for a very long time. The actor.
Yeah.
A very long time looking for 52 mantle. And so is Billy Crystal.
Is he going to take it to rehab with him? Is he going to take it to rehab?
Oh, Stefan.
Greg.
So but both Charlie Sheen and Billy Crystal are huge memorabilia and card collectors, and Bob Costas too.
Yeah,
Yeah, Crystal actually came into the locker room when I was there. Yeah, it was a big deal. Big Yankee fan. Huge Yankee fan.
Yeah.
Closest I've got to any of those guys is I bombed a stand-up set in front of Kevin Nealon one night down in Tempe, Arizona. I got booked at it was a stand-up show that was in a pizza bar that college kids flocked every Thursday. And 2 minutes before I went on the stage, Kevin Nealon and a couple of his entourage walked in, and I freaked out like a little baby.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. I ate it, but you know what? It's every comic has a story of bombing in front of a legend. So I just got mine out of the way.
That was your chance to get out of the.
It was my only chance to get it was my only chance to be famous. No, it wasn't. I mean, probably, but no, it wasn't.
This is your best chance right here.
Yeah, this is what's gonna make us all famous. I believe it. 3 years, Craig's going to get to retire. He's going to have his new setup that's going to be just an outdoor setup where he'll be sitting by a pool with somebody feeding him coconuts while he talks baseball with us. Somebody's going to teach you how to get a strike, throw a strike in the strike zone for a change. You know, we're going to get you back into form.
Who, me?
It's all going to happen. Yes.
I threw too many strikes. That was a problem. If I had just thrown one less strike, I would still be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, throwing strikes was the least of my problems.
Yeah, it was a hittable strike that was the problem.
Yeah, I hit the bat too often.
You got to throw it to the part of the strike zone where the bat's not going to be.
Right.
That's the part you got wrong.
They didn't tell me that. Although there was one time in Double-A when I was going through a rough patch, and I went up to my pitching coach, Hoyt Wilhelm. I said, Hoyt, what am I doing wrong? He goes, Weave, you got to make him turn right. I said, what? He goes, you got to make him turn right. I said, what? He said, too many of your batters are going left at first base. You got to make them go right.
Oh, that's great.
He was classic.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that.
That's a funny story.
You know, somebody should probably tell Matt Barnes that. Like, I was just thinking about that. Like, somebody should go have a talk with Matt Barnes. You'd be like, hey, man, you just got to make him turn right.
There you go.
That would probably be life-changing for him. He'd be like, wait, what? That's what we're supposed to do?
Oh, my God.
And, but no, I think that we're going to see an interesting stretch come into as we go into the final leg here, going through September and the beginning of October for the end of the season. Really, the last month of baseball starts next week. When we look at the standings, obviously there's some things that are set. You know, pretty good chance that we're going to see the Astros win the AL West. They're 11.5 games up. Cardinals, pretty good chance to win the Central. They're not a lot because they're only 5.5 games up, but I think they're pretty set. They're going to the playoffs pretty much no matter what. And the Dodgers winning the West.
Home field. Looks like the Astros will have home field.
I think they will, yeah. Astros are going to finish with the first in the National League too, or the American League too. So yeah, you're right. Now when we get into the stuff where it becomes a little more woozy, we look at right now, if the season ended today, wild card for the American League would be the Rays, the Mariners, and the Jays. The Rays have a 1.5 game lead on the field for a wild card. Since, pretty slim chance that the Yankees are going to give up first. They are still 7 games up. Is it 7? Yeah, 7.5. Sorry. But the Orioles are only 1.5 games back, and they have been surging. The Twins are still kind of floundering there at 3 games back out of the wild card slot.
And don't forget the Orioles have been without their best pitcher all year, John Means.
Yep.
And Tampa Bay has been without their best pitcher all year too. What's his name? Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah. And I think the American League competition is going to be a little tighter than what we see in the National League, or is going to be a little more competitive down the stretch than what we see in the National League. Like the Braves are going to the playoffs. They have a 9.5 game lead on the field right now for the wild card. Phillies have the second seat with 2.5 games. And then the Padres have a game and a half on the Brewers right now. And then the next one after that is the Giants at 7.5 games back. Sorry, Craig. I feel bad for you, my dude.
What I was putting my for sale sign out. What would you say? I put the for sale sign out.
Just put the. Technically they are not mathematically eliminated, though, Craig. They have a 0.8% chance of making the playoffs.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a small chance.
Go Giants.
Little baby chance. They
okay.
have slightly more of a chance of making the playoffs than Stefan does of making the Hall of Fame.
Hey.
That's okay. The Giants are going to make room for Aaron Judge, so they need the offseason to start early so they can plan on that.
Was that the place they had saved for Juan Soto?
Either Juan or Aaron. I'm not picky. So now
he did say one or the other. That's actually pretty much what he's run with all season is one or the other.
Is it Juan or the other?
Nicely done.
So, Craig, let me ask you this. Let's say in the offseason you don't get Judge, but you guys land Shohei. Well, how would you feel about that?
Very happy.
A lot of splash hits. A lot of splash hits.
And take care of our pitching issues too.
That's why I'm kind of hoping Boston makes a play, but they need to fire Bloom first and then grab Shohei after they hire a competent GM. Right. I'm so done with him now. This is the second time in 3 years we finished in last place in the East.
Yeah, I had such high hopes for him.
You can't play Tampa Bay Rays baseball in Boston. It doesn't work.
No.
It does not work. It barely works for the Rays.
Yeah.
They had the second most wins in the league last year and lost in the second round? First round, second round?
Yeah.
Like it's not a sustainable product for a championship team, and that's the expectation of Boston is championships.
Absolutely.
And he said before the season his express goal was for them not to finish in last place every other year. So he failed at that. And this is what
he has failed at that.
This is his third year. He's had his time. He's had his chances.
I don't like advocating for people to lose their jobs unless it's merited. The last one, outside of Tony La Russa, the last one I was really like, yeah, this guy needs to be fired was Urban Meyer. And no surprise, Fox hired him. But I think that Tony La Russa and Mr. Bloom, is it his first name? Is it Haim? Is that how you say it?
Haim.
Haim. Okay, that's a little weird Jewish guy with a name like Haim. But
well, that's an Israeli name. That's a Hebrew name. Haim.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know. It sounds very German. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was.
Well, I think there are a lot of similarities.
But I think Mr. Bloom needs to be promoted to fan. That's how I'll say it. Yeah, I would say fired, but Mr. La Russa and Mr. Bloom need to be promoted to fan.
Well said.
That's what we could do for the shirt. Could you imagine how that would be amazing?
Yeah.
Promote Haim Bloom to fan. Promote Tony La Russa to fan. That's a shirt that would sell like hotcakes. I'm going to tell my art guy to get on that. Okay. All right. So as we get close to wrapping up this evening, we are going to try and keep it to right at or a little under an hour. Craig, really quick, I will go ahead and promote. We have a new friend, a guest that will be coming on the show at some point soon. Writer of the book Dead Ball Trailblazers. His name is Ronald T. Waldo. This book has a lot of great information on some records from the dead ball era that may never be touched. including like I was reading the piece in this book yesterday about Ty Cobb. Definitely recommend checking it out. It is on Amazon. He will be a guest soon. I'll need y'all to turn out for that because I'm also going to try and talk him into letting me read the audiobook for it. Fingers crossed. That'd be cool. But definitely check that book out. It's a great read so far from what I've read. Definitely put a lot of work into telling a story that a lot of times we only see with numbers anymore because of how long it's been since the dead ball era. So definitely check it out. But okay, now before we wrap it up, Mr. Weaver, any final thoughts this evening, sir?
I do not. I think we've covered a lot of ground.
We did today. We talked about a lot of things today.
We did.
It wasn't one of those where only a couple of topics and a lot of chatting. It was a lot of topics today.
Yeah, always little chat.
Mr. Newton, you haven't been with us for a while. Probably have a couple of things on your mind.
Well, when we get Ron on to talk about the book, my goal is just let him go. I mean, we're just letting him go because it's going to be, for listeners out there, it's going to be story time. That's just going to be so much fun. He's going to take you back in time that we didn't live through. That he'll take you through it so vivid that it's like you're living it with the players.
Absolutely.
I do have one more thing.
Okay.
Make them turn right.
Make them turn right. That's that's life advice for those of you that are watching and happen to catch this post on Spotify or iHeartRadio. Make them turn right.
All right, signing off.
Again, special thank you to our sponsor, Gunslinger, for sponsoring this episode. You can sign up on their website to get 15% off your first order and free shipping over $30. Definitely check them out. Great products. Also, you can listen to past episodes on Spotify and iHeartRadio. Have a great night.
Take care, guys.
Night, everybody.
In your brain, that's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst I say and turn them to a game. Take the best I say and put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.